The term must-see is a stamp people like to give to shows and movies that I personally don't believe in, but there are generally the things that get that stamp get it for a reason. So today we're gonna look at one of the things that gets that stamp. Evangelion is a show and a few movies which many consider a must-watch for anime fans due to its influence, which I suppose is fair, but does it hold up today? Also, this show started airing the week before I was born, so I'm not going to care if I spoil anything, so just consider everything to be a spoiler. Also, it's been a couple of weeks since I watched this show at the time of writing, so I might get things wrong. So if you're like me and you like your robots plus sized, or if you're not like me and are into the lore of Christianity, you might like this show. Or absolutely hate it because I don't know how well it uses that lore. Now, this show follows Shinji, a boy who has the rare quality of being so traumatized that he can pilot a giant robot. Shinji lives in Tokyo 3, a city that attracts angels who are destructive beings trying to get into Shinji's dad's basement. The first half of the series is a Monster of the Week setup with some character development, while the second part goes into exploring Nerve, a group that needs more oversight because Shinji's dad runs it, and he's doing weird stuff in his basement. I don't remember much from the second half and the movie because I kept falling asleep, but it was weird and Gainax can't budget a season. I only watched the true ending movie and not the recap movie, nor any of the movies after those. So all I can say is the real ending movie is pretty much the original ending, except they had money and turned back the change of the ending. But it's worth watching if you're watching the series and somehow still watch this video despite the spoilers, and if anything, the movie has nice visuals. Speaking of visuals, I like the animation and design of this show. It's typical animation, but the execution is great. The Avas are well designed and from the first episode do feel a bit weird as robots. They kinda come off as more organic, which is good, but they were still convincing as robots, and the rest of the designs were probably futuristic at the time, but some things do feel dated. It's a show set in 2015 and still has payphones, and while you can forgive that for being a show that aired in the 90s, and it has a world that moves away from our own, I still find that funny when, just in general, when stuff like that shows up in media. Soundtrack was alright. I didn't really notice it outside the intro, which I still get stuck in my head because I don't think I ever skipped the OP while watching the show. And the ET track choice was nice. It's a cover of Fly Me to the Moon and does a great job at bringing you back to reality. Now the big question: is this show a must-watch, or even as important as fans claim it to be? And the answer is yes, with an asterisk, because while this is a super important and influential show, it isn't something you need to see unless you want to work within the manga genre. Plus, this show is made to be episodic and can be a chore to watch more than 3 episodes at a time, but it's still good, and I give it a 8 out of 10, with the warning it might be best to watch this as a 1 episode a day thing.
You did it! Yeah! All the cheese is gone! Well, most of it.